I watched Cian be an ascend. I watched Cian help so many people. He taught, when he was teaching English, I did seminars with him. He saw the Thai people were scared and embarrassed and shy culturally. So for him to get them to be confident in themselves, to love themselves, to be sure of themselves, he brought comedy, he brought humor. He understood through humor, people forget their fear, they forget their insecurities, they laugh, they become one. I saw him go into a room with 30 to 40 people and sitting there looking bored, and at the end of the day, everyone's running around screaming and laughing and high-fiving each other and having fun and just speaking fabulous English, not worrying about whether it's grammatically correct or not. Just fun. And I had done that myself to a certain degree. I always brought humor to the classroom, but Cian was a king of comedy. He had the most wicked sense of humor of anyone I ever knew. Nobody made me laugh like Cian. He tickled me. He tickled everybody. And when you think about it, every single time I walked into a seminar, a classroom, an English camp with him, the minute I knew Cian was there, I knew it was going to be a piece of cake. We were all going to be running around screaming, getting involved with the students, and all of us becoming one.
Oh, wow.
Everything that he did was about innovation, new ways of being confident, new ways of being creative, encouraging the shyest person. When I saw him with kids loved him because he was a kid with them. He had no inhibitions, and he'd go, and he'd be silly and goofy, and they go, ha, ha, ha. And he just gave them permission to be themselves. That's God in somebody. He gave people permission to let go of things that they had done wrong and forgive it and say, never mind. That was Cian. When he sang and you watched him sing, he told a story. It was all from his heart, and you could feel it was something he connected to in his life. You didn't quite know what it was because he never shared his private life. I said to you, he never told me anything about his childhood. He didn't talk about anything about his life. Cian talked about music. He talked about better ways to help people, how these projects he was doing this. It was always about what he was doing now. It was never about the past. Ever. Never. I can't say for everybody else that knew him, but I talked to Kat and she said, no, he was really like, whatever. He brushed things off because if it wasn't about positivity and it wasn't going to help someone, he wasn't interested in it.
Wow.
Like I would start to tell him something like, oh, this guy bullied me and do. Who did that? What's his name? Right. What did he say? Right. Get off the phone. I'll call you back. And I'd be in the middle of tears and he'd be like, right, this is what you're going to do. I'm sending you your lesson plan. I'm sending you all these tools you can use. Don't worry about that. Boop, 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 boop. You get in there and you ignore him. You're going to do an amazing job. You really just encourage. And he said, do you feel better now? And I said, yeah. And I said, you know what, Cian? When I go in here tomorrow, I'm doing this for you. I'm going to be the best for you. Right, whatever. Because he didn't like all the emotion. He got really uncomfortable. Right, whatever. And he hung up. When Cian was sitting there just with that, he had a little cubby that he used to hide behind and start new businesses. No one knows that. Started new businesses. He says, Deb, I'm starting this new business. Is he around? He would hide, and he would always be trying new businesses, new things, setting up new foundations, and I'm bored. I have nothing else to do. And he'd be starting business this. And Deb, when I set this up, you can come on board later on. I'll get my own business phone. You can come along. And he'd go, look what I'm doing here. Look what I'm doing. And I'd creep in. He had his finger in so many pies. It was easy for him.
Too mundane.
He knew what he was doing. It was too mundane. He set up about 5 or 6 different things. And he goes, is anybody around? And I go, no. I'm on the watch out. And he go, look. And he was always down, always got something cooking in the thing. And I said, Cian, you were hilarious. Nobody ever found out. Nobody ever knew. And he was doing all of that so he could leave. So when he quit, he'd already established loads of stuff on their time. I thought, Cian, you're such a hustler. I love you. But he said, listen, I'm not happy here. They don't appreciate me. And he said, I need to get myself doing something. So he said, if you want, I can help. And he was always telling everybody, his Deb's okay. And Kat says, all he ever talked about was, I'm wondering about this new friend of hers, and I'm hoping he's not taking advantage of her. You know, I'm always there for her, and she never asks me to help her. You know, do. He's always thinking of me, but yet we never met that often because we were both trying to, on our hustle, we were both trying to start our business. But everything that he did, orphans, homeless kids, handicapped children, he was always thinking, how can we help them? And he would always say, Deb, once you got them laughing, they'll eat out of the palms of your hands. He was just one of the most remarkable people that and even my bestie said to me, I'm really sorry I didn't get to know him properly. I'm sorry that I didn't spend more time. I said, it was all during COVID. We never got to see each other. That's what stopped us from catching up.
Thank you so much. This what you say is really sum up, Cian.
He was just the most remarkable person I've ever met. I've said to everybody, there will never be another Cian, and that's what makes us hurt so much, because he was such a unique incredible individual. He was such an angel, but he had a personality about him that was like, he kind of would growl sometimes, or he'd be kind of moody sometimes, and he kind of struggled with that a little bit sometimes, where you wouldn't know what kind of mood he was in. But I think he was just so in his head, trying to think of so many ways to help people. He'd be kind of like, you had to catch his moment where he was open and he wasn't in the middle, but he was in such a hurry to do so much for people, it frustrated him he couldn't do more. And that's the testament of Cian.
Yeah.
He is one of the most favorite people I've ever met, and we all talk about him still. We're not forgetting about him. Me and Kat talk about him all the time. And she'll have still down days where she's like, I'm having a down day, I'm missing Cian.
I would transcribe this into one chapter.